it's almost necessary to experience those pain points to be able to understand. Because like, it's not only finding all the cool new tools that we use, but like you have to know how is this actually going to help people. So you have to know what those pain points are in order to know how to actually help them.
Welcome to Built Different, a podcast featuring teams, technology, and trendsetters who are changing the way that we build. I'm Grant Hagen.
And I'm Brian Vizarreta.
And we welcome you to join a community obsessed with questioning the status quo,
creating cultures of innovation,
and equipping everyone with powerful tools to quite simply build different.
Well, welcome back to the Built Different podcast. Joined with Brian Vizarreta, I am one of your hosts, Grant Hagen. Thank you all again so much for tuning in with us here for episode 7. We have another great conversation slated here today for you guys with a couple of our friends from two different companies, actually, with Harkins Builders and Skender. And it's just going to be a really fun conversation with the two of them, Ben and Patrick, two different companies, which is another really great opportunity for us to get some different perspectives from a couple different individuals. Brian, what stands out from the conversation that we got to have with these guys?
Okay, I love these episodes where we have two different companies on because you actually do realize how similar a lot of people's goals are, which is just make the tech accessible and support the teams how they want to be supported.
Yeah, well said. And that's really just our goal here, is to connect you guys with individuals, really with a ton of different perspectives. And so we hope you guys find this episode really encouraging and some really good takeaways, which Brian and I did. It was a really fun time to be able to connect with them. And so without further ado, we'll take you down to the groundbreak floor. And thank you all for joining in with us. We'll see you on the next episode.
Welcome back to the Built Different podcast powered by Drone Deploy and Instruction Site. We are joined with Ben and Patrick. Fellas, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's great to be here.
Man, this is great stuff. Fun fact, Patrick and Ben are at different companies, but I love, this is just a really cool opportunity because you guys have presented together, you've talked about reality capture together, which is just really fun. So we get the benefit and the viewers get the benefit of really tapping into your guys' expertise and knowledge. And so I'll start with you, Ben. Tell us a little bit about your background, who you're with, and then I'll go over to you, Patrick.
Sure. My name's Ben Stocker. I'm a construction technologist at Skender. We're a general contractor in Chicago. My role is basically just all the R&D and then implementation of any new technology, software, processes. Yeah, just find out what's going to work for our teams and then get people to actually use them and make everyone's lives easier.
And how long have you been at Skender? What's kind of your background in education?
I have my education in civil engineering and then just went into more of the construction management world. I just wanted to be more hands-on with the projects, I guess. And I've been with Skender now for 7-8 years and started off just on the project management side of Skender, but just was always interested in technology. I was always trying to find ways to use tech to make my own life easier, and then transitioned into this position where I just try to make everyone's life easier at Skender now.
Simplify. Ben, thanks for introing us. Patrick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, Patrick Scarpati, I work with Harkins Builders. We are based out of Columbia, Maryland. We do have offices in Philadelphia, Charlotte, and in Richmond.
Okay.
So kind of that mid-Atlantic area over there. I'm a virtual design and construction manager. That's a very popular term in this industry.
Yeah.
Right? How did I kind of fall into technology? I did go to college. I never finished college. I dropped out. But I did end up at as an apprentice in my mid-20s. So I am a licensed HVAC journeyman.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Coming from the field. Very fortunate to really get my hands on and build things. And that's how I was introduced to kind of the technology renaissance that's happening. And with BIM in particular, because in the mechanical world, it's a lot of prefabrication. So I was exposed to that pretty early on and eventually realized that in order to make probably a bigger impact, I need to move on to more of a general contractor role to really get my hands on more software tools and just help influence the industry. So
it's funny. So both of you have a background where you had to actually feel the pain points yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that is honestly probably what drives you to want to solve it for the rest of the companies.
It's almost necessary to experience those pain points to be able to understand. Because it's not only finding all the cool new tools that we use, but like you have to know how is this actually going to help people. So you have to know what those pain points are in order to know how to actually help them.
I think that's like by the people for the people, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I talked to multiple people here and it's like, what really drives you? And they're like, well, there was a time and place where I had to do it a way that I completely disagreed with. And I thought there would be a better way and I kind of fell into my role.
Yeah, I think in our roles in particular with technology, it's no one is celebrating your failures, but you have to in a way, because we hit a brick wall a lot with the aging workforce right now. They always had a particular viewpoint on technology, and with our backgrounds coming up, we were just literally talking to brick walls, but we had to keep powering through. And it's funny because if we were, I guess we're in an office setting, half office, half field, but the lingo is completely different, right? So if you can understand that language of your field staff, the guys that are actually building, the ones using the tools daily, right? And then transitioning that back to the office. And if you can combine those, then, there could be an effective solution.
How do you guys go through like an evaluation process? Ben, Pat, I don't know who wants to take that one first, but obviously 2 different companies, 2 different approaches, but tell us a little bit about kind of how that happens at your company.
We have something called the ICR, Innovative Capital Reinvestment. It's our Shark Tank.
Oh, nice.
So literally, it's an open door. If you have an idea, you want to try it, it's software, it's hardware, it's anything, right? We have this application. You come in, submit the application.
Is that like a yearly thing or?
So I think we have 4 meetings a year, right?
Okay.
And there's an actual like board of Harkins employees
Wow, cool.
review these, but then they have a presentation. You can present to the whole company and say, I have this idea. This is how I think it's going to save time, save money, whatever, right? And then, 9 times out of 10, it's going to get funded.
Sure.
And say, yep, here you go. You have a job site, go try it out, and then we'll talk to you in
How
6
long have you
months.
guys been doing that? Or what?
A little over a year. And it's been tricky to encourage people to submit. You would think once you open the door, it's like, oh my gosh, we ran
that'll
out
take
of
time.
we ran out of money. But I think, people are with the younger generation coming up, right? I'm only 34, so I guess I'm still young, right?
Young at heart. Come
Young
on.
at heart, right? But I think as they start coming up and they're getting exposed to more of these cool ideas, they're going to start opening up a little bit more and say, I want to try this out.
Yeah. Is there something that stood out from that has been a big win for y'all, or maybe even a failure? Like, has there been ideas that have been presented that have gone through that you've seen that have been really successful or not?
Yeah, I mean, I'll list a few examples here. Anything as small as, we'll talk drones here, right? An enterprise level drone before Maverick 3 Enterprise came out, right? The Maverick 2 Enterprise.
Yeah.
Somebody submitted Maverick 2 Enterprise and they said, look, thermal imaging,
Wow, nice.
we can use this because on a lot of our jobs, when we go back for a 1-year warranty call, we typically have to do like a rooftop thermal scan. We hire a company to do that. He went out for that warranty call, flew the drone, submitted the thermal scans, and it was approved.
Nice.
And so instantly, there we go. That proved the point.
Yeah.
Right there. So
How do you approach different problems, like different projects differently on what their tech stack should be?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
are
great
you starting to think about SOPs for hospital renovation projects? This is your tech stack, or is it more of an ad hoc basis for now?
I mean, it definitely varies by job. I mean, if I have a ground up job, multi-building site with a lot of site work, like first thing is going out there with drone deploying, capturing the whole site, and then, making sure I have, a live camera on a neighboring building or somewhere. Like that tech stack is very different from if I'm going into an existing building, doing demo and building out a new office space, like where, the first thing you're going to want to do is go in with a 360 camera, just go through and capture all the existing conditions, plus with a laser scanner. But yeah, the tech stack is very different depending on the type of job that you're working on.
Patrick, any thoughts to that?
yeah, so our bread and butter at our company is multifamily work, right?
Okay.
So market rate apartments, affordable tax credit apartments, and they're huge. It's not just little 3-story projects, right? These are $100 million plus projects. But the thing with multifamily is sometimes they all look the same, right? But fortunately, like we're able to go in. Everything starts with Procore, right? We've been a Procore company for a very long time now, right? So we understand that everything kind of starts within Procore with a lot of our document management. But expanding out of that with 3D models with BIM, it's kind of an interesting twist in multifamily because everything is so repetitive. We're not doing full coordination as an example, right?
Sure.
For most of the jobs. But we kind of pick and choose and create a hybrid method where we can utilize this model and cut it up, get the trade partners involved. Because in multifamily, there are a lot of trade partners who are still way behind the technology curve. And we want to bring them along with us. So it's an opportunity to say, hey, come look at this with us. We're not asking you, we're not forcing you to do anything, but just take a look with us and see what we can resolve. Just a few examples there. Drones, everything he talked about, obviously getting them up as early as possible in the job, and then setting a schedule. Right. All right. Every 2 weeks. Is it every week? Or do you have a pilot on your site? Right. We have 10 pilots at our company. Some of them are working on a site full time. So they can fly as often as they want and then start analyzing their data from there.
I'm really curious, how do you effectively identify your pain points? Like, how do you crowdsource pain points, essentially? I think people want to, they want to feel connected in their pain point of like, yes, I feel that too. That is something I'm frustrated with. But like, tell us about some of the like crowdsourcing ways that you guys have like tried to kind of identify those.
Yeah, so we just have a continuous improvement internal page that people can go to and put their pain points on there, and then hopefully we'll find a solution. They can offer a solution, or we can just try to figure one out. But then luckily, like, people know that I like to try everything out. So a lot of times people just come straight to me and just say, hey, we're trying to do this. Do you know of a good way to do this specific workflow or, fix this problem? So I love when people do that. I don't have to actually reach out. If people just come straight to me, like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's good to note about that is that people in your company also see you as a shield from the nonsense that's out there too.
That's some of the hardest part of my job, is filtering out I don't want to call it nonsense.
Sorry. Not nonsense, but it may not be doing what you think it's going to do.
Yep.
Because you saw a video that portrayed it in a certain way that you misinterpreted.
Yeah, just like an initial filter.
Yeah.
Patrick's over here like, man, I did not know that live. What are your thoughts to that?
Just we're talking about like demos here, like software companies hitting you up, and there's a lot of great products out there. And I think one thing that bugs me, I'm not even answering your question right now, but when you see a demo or you watch these videos online, I understand the videos online, it's just a quick, hey, this is what it can do.
Yeah.
But even if you have the more personable demos on the call, sometimes what they're showing you is unrelated to what you actually build. And 3D models in particular, sometimes when you look at 3D models in a demo, it's like a perfect world scenario.
Yeah, totally.
Everything makes sense. And it's like, well, that's not really addressing. I had to chime in on that. But again, if you're able to communicate with these salespeople, with the software, and, most of them hopefully are able to listen and then adjust it and say, well, actually here, we can do it this way.
I'm really curious if you guys were to take this kind of, I would say reality captures seem to be a complex dynamic, a complex topic. It's got really high technical things to really easy, simple things. Like, what are some ways that you guys help educate not only your teams, but maybe owners or clients on this idea of reality capture? It is a broad spectrum. And I'm just curious to hear like your guys' approach to that topic. It's a big topic. And I like the term reality capture. It's obviously pretty denoting of what it means, but the spectrum of it can get really confusing really quickly.
It's showing them what you can do with it.
Okay.
It's show them the end output, show them that deliverable, and show them how much better it is than what they were doing before. I mean, it's like you mentioned laser scanning. Most of the people who work with the data you get from laser scanning don't care about the point cloud itself or the process of the laser scanning. They don't care if you're using a mobile or a terrestrial setup. It's, what do we actually get out of this? What can we learn from it? What time and money does it save?
Yeah.
So like when we show them, our as-built conditions that we can make from a laser scan and show them how much more accurate it was than the who knows how old drawings that the building had before, that's a huge improvement. That's a proof of what am I trying to say here?
Concept.
Concept. Yeah. And then also, or like if we're doing floor flatness tests and whatnot, showing, how instead of, manually surveying a couple points on the floor, or more than a couple, but the fact that we can do a heat map with deviation grids across the entire floor and have way more data points in a manual survey. Just showing them results like that, it makes it an easy sell then.
Yeah, for sure. Patrick,
education's awesome. Any chance you get to sit on a call, sit at a table with an owner or an architect and explain to them not just the benefits, but when you have these use cases from your field champions, it's not just us pulling out a random example that we did around the office. It's, well, we built this job a few months ago. Let me send you this file and see how it looks. So recently, here's a direct example. We have a renovation division, and the architect, I got looped into the conversation. Somehow reality capture came up, and then our management team looped me in and was like, hey, the architect is asking about something. Can you help us figure out what it is? Well, he was looking for an as-built scan of an existing condition, right? Not a laser scan, but just 360 photos.
Sure.
So I was like, look, we have handheld 360 cameras. That's one option.
Yeah.
Right. And I sent him an example of what a walkthrough kind of looks like with that. And then I brought out Matterport, right, and their type of scans,
Yep.
right? And the easiest way to explain it is you go to Zillow and you want to buy a house, there's a virtual walkthrough.
Yeah.
It's literally the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of our team members were unaware of that technology in construction, right? So the architect was like, yes, I want that. We did it, right? We went out, performed the service. You get this awesome link, you open it up on a web browser, and you're touring the site of this facility, and all of a sudden, the architect sees it, tremendous value for him,
Yep.
huge win. And now our team internally all of a sudden sees how much of a value it is for the architect, and then they see value on an estimating standpoint.
Totally.
Right. So again, I got looped into the conversation. I thought I effectively explained the benefits of it, and then
You kind of went on the full ends of the spectrum. Like, and I think that's what's really important on the education piece is like, hey, to do this well, there's different tools. And like, I'm not going to overwhelm you with all of them, but I'm going to explain the low end to the high end and the value and the deliverable. And like that part of it is really an art to be able to educate folks on and just the uniqueness of, hey, you probably don't know anything about this and that's okay. But like relating it to other industries and other parts of their life where it's like, yeah, I may buy a new house and you probably want to see that house before you buy it. That's great.
I mean, biggest thing is just setting expectations of how long something takes, what the accuracy level you're actually going to work
Right.
with, right? Like if they wanted to use that to, for something that may require an eighth of an inch accuracy, then it's like, oh, well, we can't really use this. And like, oh, why?
Yeah.
Like, I thought this was a scan. Like, well, we still have there's different words to laser scan or point cloud.
Yeah.
I'm using air quotes here, but
You can make a point cloud from 360 photos. It's not going to be accurate to an eighth of
Absolutely
an inch, though.
no.
Yeah. So do you need to know, is this deck 8 feet or 10 feet, or do you need to know, does the floor move an eighth of an inch from here to here?
I'm curious too. We'll lay in the plane here. This is a great conversation. One, it's just fun to hear your guys and two companies. Like this is so
Yeah,
unique that
I
we
love
get
this.
to get two different companies' perspectives. I'm curious too, as we kind of wrap things up. What are you most excited about in this reality capture space? Like when you guys think Groundbreak 2023, maybe a couple years out even too, like what are the things that get you guys excited as you kind of see into the, I don't want to say like 5-year future because stuff changes so fast, but even this time next year, like what are the things that we're going to be talking about here in 2023?
It's just the accessibility of all this tech and just being able to have it easier to use and get into people's hands. I mean, laser scanning can be a complicated thing, but we also have LiDAR scanners on our iPhones now that make pretty good scans. They're not, I wouldn't do like a floor flatness test with them yet, but I mean, if you just need to quickly scan a space, they're great at that, honestly. So that's accessibility, just making things easier for more people to use and not need a specialist. Like,
Sure.
Laser scanning's getting easier. Drones, I mean, you guys have made it so that anyone can just, you could pre-plan it, and then you just go out there and hit one button and it will chain mission and do all your things and land back in the same spot. That's so easy to do. And the 360 stuff, you just press a button, walk around the site, done. And there's no, you don't need a specialist for any of that work. And that's what I'm really looking forward to. I mean,
I'm just curious on what the adoption rate is going to look like in the next 5 years. The specialists, right? There are a lot of specialists out there who probably know the equipment in and out, but maybe they just don't know construction that well, right? I'm excited to see that crossover of a lot of our fields teams. I know a lot of construction management programs are now implementing a lot of technology in their curriculum. So them coming out of school already kind of trained on that technology, jumping into a job site, that's what I'm excited for. I want to see that crossover. I think it'll break down a lot of barriers. There's a lot of young leaders stepping up into C-suite roles now in our industry, and that things are going to drastically change in the next 5 to 10 years, 100%.
Yeah, that is such a good point. I mean, it's amazing how you can have an intern jump on the site for a summer and provide value to the entire team immediately just by going out and doing a video walk, right? And not just that, but now I'm redirecting all of my foremen. Hey, you need to find a photo. Go talk to so and so that actually just did this, who's been on a job site for no less than 4 days, right? But is starting to understand the questions that are coming to them and using it as a training tool, almost backwards.
Yeah. And those interns that come on, they're coming from these programs that are construction technology or digital construction management, whatever they're calling them now. I know those programs exist at college. And it's awesome to see that, because like that didn't exist when I was back in school. Like there was construction management, but there was no digital or technology portion of it. So the fact that people come straight out of school and be more knowledgeable in this field than people who have been in it for 10, 20, 30 years, like that's amazing.
Yeah, sooner or later it's just technology, just construction, right? Digital construction is literally just going to be construction, right? When all these tools
Maybe
are
our
the same.
job won't even exist, because everyone will will be one.
If the industry's a lot better at it, then that's fine by me, right?
Yeah,
We did our jobs right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think to bring this home too, specifically in workforce development, right? Me coming from an apprenticeship background, I came up not exposed to a lot of this cool stuff right off the bat. I had to go eventually work into my company and realize, there's more out there. I guess kind of a shameless plug here, right? I'm a board member with Associated Builders and Contractors, my local chapter, right? Ever since I went through the apprenticeship program and I stayed involved, because outside of all this technology and helping my company adopt it, I think my bigger goal is to get more of the young workforce in construction, and technology has been able to help me with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's funny when I get to go to middle schools and high schools, and when I talk to them, I tell them my background, whatever. But I hold up a drone and go, it's crazy. 6 years ago, I was soldering copper pipe in a ceiling, and now I'm flying a drone. Like,
yeah,
who would have thought? But I was able to get here because of the experience I had in construction.
Yeah,
right, and I could spread that knowledge out. So it's really up to us, all of us at this table, to really get those younger guys excited for all this technology we have, and like, hey, get in, learn a trade, and you're going to be so valuable in this industry.
Yeah.
Right.
Well said. It really is. I mean, gosh, we could spend a whole nother session on just rewriting the narrative of construction and yeah, shameless plug for Procore. They're doing a great job of educating folks in some of their .org stuff that they're involved with. And yeah, I think it takes a village, and it takes not only folks in the industry, such as you guys, our side of it on the tech side, and really coming together to say, hey, like, let's all kind of change this narrative together. So, fellas, this has been fun. Yeah. Super fun. Really enjoyed it.
I could sit here talking all day.
Yeah, we really could. It's fun. Appreciate your guys' time. We look forward to connecting with you guys back on the Built Different podcast. We will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to Built Different on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's build this community together.